According to the passage, which one of the following is true of New Zealand's wool industry? Okay, so the right answer here is going to be explicitly in the passage. The wrong answers just won't have support in the passage. So let's see what we can figure out. This isn't the sort of question that you should try to predict before you look at the choices, but we'll go back up to the passage to find support for the answer if we, answers that we think might be correct. Okay, A. It supports a strong carpet manufacturing industry in New Zealand. Okay, so they do say that the New Zealand wool is used for carpet, but we don't know necessarily that carpet manufacturing is happening in New Zealand. In fact, if the wool is being exported, then presumably that wool is being turned into carpets somewhere else. So that definitely wasn't in the passage. B. It is overseen by a board that is representative of operators of both large and small farms. That may be true, but I'm not sure we heard anything about it, like some supervisory board that has representatives of both large and small farms. I don't remember seeing anything about a board. C. It has recently begun to shift investment towards researching more efficient wool processing techniques. Okay, so there was some mention about the industry and more efficient wool processing techniques, but whether the industry has recently begun to shift investment towards it is another question. We can go and have a look about that in a minute. D. It has followed a pattern of growth similar to that of the world's cotton industry. So the world's cotton industry was mentioned. We can go back and see what it says about that. But I think it was holding up the cotton industry as something that the wool growers have been unable to achieve. It was saying cotton industry does this. Wool in New Zealand should also do the same thing by having everybody emulate the best practices of the most successful farms. I don't think that's right. E. It is the largest producer of strong wool in the world. Okay, maybe that's right. But maybe that was Australia. Let's go see. Is New Zealand the largest producer of strong wool in the world? Let's go check that out. And we can also look at the idea of this shifting of investment towards researching more efficient techniques. Okay, so this is when we compared Australia. Here's Australia. New Zealand is second only to Australia in total wool production, okay, and is the world's largest producer of strong wool. Okay, so New Zealand is the world's largest producer of strong wool. That is our answer. We can just go down there and choose it. And move on. However, I will go up and prove that C is wrong. I know that there is no mention of a board, so I'm going to cross out B. But C, I'm going to go track that down a second. Okay, investment towards wool processing techniques. That was somewhere around here. This is the industry efforts to improve the efficiency of wool processing. Okay, but doesn't go any further to say, like, there's been a recent shift towards doing that and a recent shift towards investing in researching those techniques. That's taking it a bridge too far. We need to be careful not to use our imagination while answering these questions. A good rule of thumb is that if you are finding that you have to use your imagination to make a connection and say, well, maybe this is true, you can pretty much rely on that choice being wrong. Because the right answer has actual support in the passage that you'll be able to point to and say, that's why this is the right answer. And there will be reasons that you can point at the wrong choices and say, this is why those choices are wrong. So our answer, I feel pretty good about E.